Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is your English instructor Kashif Mahmood. Today we are going to start our unit number 14, that is Tulip Festival. So let's start this unit. Dear students, this is our SLO. Identify and construct sentences with a comparison clause, that is, for example, that is, I eat more than you do, with a relative clause. He is looking for the bag which he has lost. This is our SLO and with example. Now let's move and explain it and understand it. Now this is vertical linkage. SLO E5, the same SLO that was in English 5 E5. Now in English 5 the SLO starts with these words: differentiate between main and subordinating clauses in a given sentence. This is vertical linkage. Now move करते हैं जी. Now let's move to next slide. Let's move to the next slide, that is brainstorming. Actually, brainstorming is an activity in which we you can say connect our brain with these things. Now look at brainstorming. Can you remember what is meant by a clause? This is brainstorming sentence. This sentence connect us with the topic, right? Can you remember what is meant by clause? What is clause? We can say in simple sentence, in simple language, what is clause? Now let's move. Comparative clause. Comparative clauses are used to compare two or more things, indicating the similarities or differences between them. Comparative clause, as the name of this clause shows, comparative clause. This clause basically compare two things, like are used to compare two or more things, indicating the similarities or differences between them. Example: he runs faster than his brother. Now if we look at this sentence, we want to know about the comparison. The comparison is between he and brother, right? What is the base of similarity? What is the similarity? That is running fast. On this base, he and his brother are compared. In this sentence, the comparison is between the speed of her running and her brother's running. The word faster introduces the comparative clause. So we can say that comparative clause tells us about the comparison about two or more than two things based on similarities. Let's move to the next slide. We are going to discuss the next type of clause, that is relative clause. This is relative clause. Relative clauses are introduced by relative pronouns. This is the identification of relative clause. We can easily identify relative clause when we see relative pronouns, such as these are the relative pronouns: who, whom, whose, which, and that. These are basically 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 relative pronouns. Whenever the clause starts with these words, Such type of clause is called relative clause. The choice of relative pronoun depends on the noun being modified and the role it plays in the clause. Now, relative clauses provide additional information about a noun. So, this is the function of relative clause. Relative clause or relative clauses provide additional information about a noun. A pronoun in a sentence, whether it is noun or pronoun, right, they are introduced by relative pronouns such as who, whom, whose, which or that. Here are examples of sentences with a relative clause. Now, look the example. Imagine a place where vibrant colors dance in the breeze, where the air is perfumed with the sweet scent of flowers. Imagine a place where, here is the word where, vibrant colors dance in the breeze. Here is also the same word is repeated, right? The air is perfumed with the sweet scent of flowers. In this sentence, the relative clause where the air is perfumed with the sweet scent of flowers provides extra information about the place. It specifies where the air is perfumed, right? So, this is all about relative clause. Now, let's move to the next slide. So, this is a classroom activity. So, identify and underline the comparison clause in the following sentences. Sarah throws the ball farther than anyone else and runs faster than most of her treatments. This is the sentence number 1. We are moving to the sentence number 2. The new roller coaster at the amusement park is taller than any other ride in the park. In the science fair, Hina's project was more innovative than any other project. Despite the challenging weather conditions, the soccer team played with more determination than their opponents. During the art class, Mariama's painting demonstrated more creativity than the other students' network. So, identify and underline the comparison clause. You know, the comparison clause can be identified with the comparative word. Here, the comparative word. If we see the comparative word, so in this sentence, here is the comparative word, and in this sentence, here is the comparative word. Also, here in this sentence, we are looking at where is the comparative word. This is the comparative word. Now, in this sentence, we can see here is the comparative word. These are the comparative words. We can identify the comparison clauses with comparative words. Dear students, during class activity, we easily identify the relative clauses as well as we can say comparison clauses. So, this is all about our what comparison clause. Let's move to the next slide. Now, look at this. This is homework. Identify and underline relative clauses from the text and use them in sentences. So, you can see simulations and all this stuff in our PPTs. So, this is worksheet. You can do, it is attached here. Now, these are our resources you can use during your own preparation. So, thank you so much. This is all about today's lecture. See you in the next lecture. Take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.